Starting over at 22 is something that I never imagined that I would have to do, genuinely speaking. I feel like most times when we hear people say they're starting over, it sounds so exciting and neat and organized until, it's you in that situation and you realize how scared and afraid and uncertain you would be about a lot of things and you don't even know where to start. For me, I think starting over is not just about going to a new country, getting a new degree, learning a new skill. I think the essence of starting over is genuinely to embrace the uncertainty of life and accept that whatever is meant to be is going to be and what's not meant to be wouldn't. Right? I genuinely feel like I'm making space for the woman that I'm becoming. On some days, I'm not going to lie, it feels genuinely freeing and it feels like I have the chance to make a difference and reshape my life. But on some days, I can't help but wonder if the people that are looking up to me are proud of me and if I'm on the right path. This is my truth about starting over at 22, what I've learned so far and what I'm still learning. And I hope by sharing my story, you feel less alone. Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Oyinye Oloma Giselle Ume. I'm 22 years old, obviously. I'm Igbo from Anambra State and I recently completed my master's in corporate finance law. I also studied law for my undergraduate. Oh, and I've been to culinary school and I love cooking. It's something I'm very passionate about, so you're going to see a lot of cooking videos on my page. This video is about starting over and the uncomfortable feeling of starting a new chapter in your life, which people don't talk about often. I would say starting over for me started when I had to leave Nigeria and come to the UK for my master's. Initially, it was something I was very excited about. Who wouldn't be? But when I got here, it wasn't long after I arrived that the excitement diminished and I realized that I had left behind everything that I know. And I've come to a country where I don't know anybody. And literally, I felt so alone and I felt like I didn't know what I was doing. I remember telling myself that it was going to be worth it and it was going to be such an amazing opportunity. Granted, everything I said was true, but however, I didn't factor in how difficult it was going to be for me. And this is not just about loneliness, the cultural difference as well, and just living the version of you that you're so secure in and coming somewhere else to start from scratch. I wasn't just starting a new academic program. For me, it felt like I was starting my life afresh and I had to build myself from scratch. For me, coming for my master's was an act of faith. Basically, I didn't know what was ahead of me, but I basically believed in what was to come and I had faith that everything was going to go absolutely fine. Starting over is like hitting a huge big red button, and genuinely speaking, it's a lot of work because imagine trying to push a button and it's literally stiff. No one talks about the emotional and mental strength it takes you to actually start afresh. I would say the biggest challenge that I've faced as a graduate would definitely be navigating the job market. I don't think people talk about how much it weighs you down enough. And aside from the pressure that you put on yourself, there's also this societal pressure and, pressure from family just to meet up to the expectations and just make sure that what you're doing basically aligns with what you want, and it's also aligns with what your family wants for you as well. For me, I think there's always this quiet expectation to succeed or to do things a certain way or to achieve things a certain way, and this is very subjective if I'm being honest, because at the end of the day, sometimes you have to choose between what you want for yourself and what other people want for you. At some point, I had to tell myself that my journey doesn't have to look like anyone else's journey, and it's generally okay for me to take every day one step at a time. And the thing about growth is that sometimes growth isn't loud and it's not obvious, but the little steps you take every day definitely contribute towards the bigger picture. And I just had to give myself grace and literally take everything one at a time. And genuinely speaking, it's really the small steps that make up the bigger goals at the end of the day. So every day literally counts. No day is a waste, and every effort you put in definitely comes back with greater reward. I think for me, starting over, the hardest thing that I've had to face is definitely the emotional part of it. We talk about the external challenges enough, but I think it's really the emotional part of it that catches you off guard because you don't really know how to handle it a lot of times. I'll say something that has really helped me on this journey is journaling, just putting my thoughts together, writing things down, and basically just setting my goals. I think there's a euphoric feeling you get from writing a to-do list and ticking it off at the end of the day. No matter how small, no matter how big, I think that's something that has really helped me mentally. And also just leaving your friends and just letting go of everything that you've known and everything, or the people around you who understand you and people who get you, it messes with your mental, genuinely speaking. So I think we just need to make conscious effort to make sure that at every point we're like in tune with our emotions, and you're definitely checking in on yourself and not just focusing so much on what's going on around you, and making sure that you're okay, because if you're okay, that's the only way you're going to be able to achieve the things you need to achieve. Because I think what goes on here and here definitely drives what we do with our body. So if you're not okay mentally or emotionally, it's definitely going to show while you're trying to achieve certain things. I've had to navigate relationships in this phase of life, and one thing I would say is some relationships are complicated, undefined, sometimes even confusing, if you know what I mean. But one thing it has taught me is to always set boundaries and always, have self-respect and put myself first, like no matter the situation that I'm in. I would say that has been an eye-opener for me so far. But most importantly, I would say it has taught me how to protect my peace and be the gatekeeper of my heart and genuinely know when to let people in and when not to. One thing that has really helped me is definitely journaling. I would say it's a good way for me to express myself, and it's also a good way for me to look back and see how far I've come, see the progress that I've made. And I also say learn how to be vulnerable. I know it sounds weird to say I'm learning how to be vulnerable, but generally speaking, I'm just learning how to be myself and not care, even when I don't have it together. Like, I mean, all those parts of me are the things that make up me as a person. So I don't think being vulnerable is something to be ashamed of. And I'm also learning to let people in and not be too closed off. I think that's definitely something I've learned how to do. A lot of times, like, our experiences influence like our behaviors along the line, but I think it's definitely up to you to decide not to let certain things like affect you to the point where you stop being yourself and you start becoming somebody else because you're not exactly happy with the situation. I think one thing I would say is always be yourself. Always just embrace you, the good, the bad, and the ugly, because every phase of your life is definitely important and it's definitely nothing to be ashamed of. I think right now I'm genuinely just at a point where I'm really just trying to focus on building my career and accepting that sometimes we make plans for ourselves, but things don't always go how we imagine them to go. And genuinely speaking, that's okay. It doesn't mean things are bad, but things just don't always go how we expect them to go. At this point, I would say I'm very excited to see where this journey is taking me, and I'm genuinely open to change, even if it means me building my career here, going back to Nigeria, or doing something that I never saw myself doing. I think that's the beautiful thing about growth. Every little thing literally contributes to my growth, whether it's how I imagined it or it's not. Starting over for me is genuinely choosing myself all the time and becoming the person that I've always wanted to be. Just making space for the me that is coming, and making sure that both internally and externally, like, I'm prepared for whatever life brings my way, because at the end of the day, we can never be so ready, but you can definitely try to change your mindset. Another thing I would say is starting over doesn't have an age limit. You could be starting over at 22, you could be starting over at 25. Heck, you could even be 40 and starting over. This journey isn't like exclusive to age. you know, it's something that anybody could choose to embark on at any point in their lives. If I'm being honest, I think I'm going to start over a million times in my lifetime. And generally speaking, that's okay, because starting over doesn't exactly mean that you failed or you're a failure. It's literally growth. I think it's just about embracing yourself and letting yourself know that you're brave and you can take the risk of, you know, fighting for whatever it is that you want, or basically just having the mindset that whatever is meant to be for you would be at the end of the day. If you're watching this video and you feel stuck or overwhelmed, like you don't know what to do, I just want to remind you that it's okay to be stuck and it's okay to not know what you're doing. Honestly, I think we should just learn to take it easier on ourselves. And I also want you to know that you're not alone. No matter how old you are, like no matter the age that you're starting over, you're not alone. There are people out here who relate to you. Sometimes, you know, we have so many achievements and we still feel empty. We still feel like we haven't quite done what we're supposed to do. But I think we should just learn to appreciate the effort that we put in every day into becoming the people that we want to be. If you're watching this video, I'd love to hear your stories in the comments about starting over. What has it taught you? What have you learned? And how do you feel about what's ahead of you? Even though the instructions or where you're going might not be clear, but I'll still really like to hear everyone's experience and how they're finding their way. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you for being here on this journey. I hope we can genuinely get to connect and share ideas and, you know, get to know each other better. I feel like this is genuinely a safe space. And yeah, I feel like I would like to meet people who are kind of in a similar phase as I am, and, you know, just see what life is bringing our way. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe. Thank you.